Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to AIM Impact on Your Health. AIM Impact on Your Health, where every day our goal is to have you learn at least one thing to help you live better and longer. AIM Impact on Your Health is heard each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney, and I'm with you each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. AIM Impact on Your Health, where each day you'll find current medical news, knowledgeable guests, fascinating health topics, and of course, where we do encourage you to call in to join in today. Well, folks, it is a Friday version of the show. Gloomy as it is outside, understand some bright sunshine is in store for us today. Let's start lighting up with a little bit of brightness around here. You know what? You can come on in today and set the agenda as you would like to see it. This is an open phone Friday. We'll allow you to come on in by dialing us up at 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. I'll listen for a knock on the door and I'll let you in the store. Got a number of things on my plate. Want to tell you about the number and numerous eye programs up and coming in this month and in the following month. Avazzia training has now been launched. Going to give you some more details about the training coming to Pittsburgh, especially for you practitioners, those massage therapists out there, physical therapists, chiropractors who work with a number of, I don't know, sometimes they call them patients, sometimes they call them clients, whatever you call them. They're hurting and they could benefit from the use of Avazzia training coming to town in August. Details on that. And then, of course, as I mentioned the other day, mammograms, unbelievable. They're in the news again, and that gets me riled up. You know it's a favorite bugaboo of mine. I'm going to have to reveal the next chapter in the saga of why you probably don't want to have a mammogram. Anyway, at any point along my discussion with you this morning, call in as you see it to set the agenda as you'd like it. Once again, that number, 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. Okay, the way things are shaping up, it's been a pretty raucous month. A lot of activity and lots centering around the Avazzia technology. Just this week alone now, on Monday, we had Lynn Teachworth with us and Mike Legal. Now, Mike is the CEO and president of a company called First Alternatives. They are the sole marketing arm of all the Avazzia units, and I had a chance to meet Mike when he was in town attending my training program for frequency-specific microcurrent back in April. Anyway, we got to know each other very well. We've maintained a great friendly and a professional relationship, and I'm glad I've been able to introduce him to you on a couple of occasions. Of course, through him, we met a dynamic gentleman. His name is Lynn Teachworth, and he does teach, and what he teaches has a lot of value and worth to it. He's a trainer for the Avazzia people, and he's coming to town, as we found out, and a up-and-coming national massage therapy convention taking place here in Pittsburgh. Of course, they talked about launching your ability to be trained in the Avazzia technology right here in your backyard. Please take them up on that offer if you get a mind to learn more about it, especially if you are a clinician, and I'll give you some additional information about that right out of the chute here this morning. And of course, on Wednesday, the girls came on board. We had Nancy Anderson with us, who is a trainer really for a number of years now with the Avazzia folks, and a patient/clinician named Jennifer from down near Orlando, Florida. It was a pretty interesting encounter. I would invite any of you listeners who happen to miss those shows, or what about having heard them, if you'd like to hear them again, just head to the website at djcmd.com. That's djcmd.com on the opening page. Click on the icon marked Archives, and that'll take you right onto the YouTube. The last two shows, they're in chronological order there. You'll find July 6th was with Lynn and Mike, and then July 8th was with Nancy and Jennifer. And the excitement continues to build about the up-and-coming Avazzia training sessions. I'll tell you more about that and more about the Beresha tasting and eye seminar. I've got a lot to give you today. But we do have a knock on the door. So come on to the store. Hello, welcome aboard. What's on your mind? Go right ahead.
Good morning, Dr. Courtney.
Hi.
Hey, hiya. Hey, I was interested in LDA, and do I have to have like an ELISA allergy test, delayed allergy test first to find out what I'm allergic to?
No, I guess any other place other than here, if one wants to test on the issue of delayed hypersensitivity, an ELISA test has been a very good tool to use. I will tell you that when it comes to using LDA or its most recent conversion, LDI, which stands for immunotherapy, the one thing you never need to do is to do any pre-testing. And the reason why is all of the antigens, and of course ELISA was very good for the food antigens, and you could have a very sophisticated test done. Well, the mixtures of antigens that we use in our treatment have every food known to man represented within it. So you don't need to test because every food is already represented, and doesn't matter whether you test positive or not, you're getting that antigen. If you do test and would have tested positive, you're going to be treated and corrected for it. And if it was innocuous to you, it won't matter. So the answer to your question is you need no ELISA testing.
So then I wouldn't have to stay away from, let's say I'm allergic to beef. I wouldn't have to stay away from beef for like a few weeks as I'm getting my treatment.
No, I will tell you,
whatever I'm allergic to, and I get the treatment, it'll still work.
Yeah, I guess what I would tell you is for the longest time, Dr. William Butch Schrader had very stringent rules about what you had to do before an LDA or LDI injection. And one of those rules was a very stringent diet that had to be followed, what we called the 3 critical days. That meant the day before, the day of, and the day after the injections. What has happened is, as stringent as those rules were, we tossed them all out last October when Dr. Ty Vincent revealed you really don't need to follow any of those. So the good news is it's really helped some people who felt that the diet was almost so restrictive they didn't want to do the injections. So now I can tell you, no prep needed. You just show up.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it is. And we found that the people respond just as well without the strict rules and the prep as did whenever we didn't do the prep.
Oh, that sounds great. All right, well, I think I'll show up then.
Okay, we're going to have a consult with you to decide which of the mixtures you need. And you can literally do it on the same day, but schedule a consult with me and we can take it from there.
Sounds good.
Look forward to meeting you. Very good. Yeah, LDA/LDI. We've been involved in the arena of treating these immunological issues since November of 2012. So I can tell you what I tell most of the patients that I see here after we spend some time on a one-on-one discussing how LDA and LDI may, and LDA, by the way, stands for low dose antigen, and LDI, low dose immunotherapy. In a way they're the same, in a way they're a little different. We don't have to get into that right now. But the issue of what you can do and what I affectionately referred to as an extra credit book report. That's my old teaching background coming in. An extra credit book report means I send you out of the office with references in order to do additional investigation on your own. The first place I send you, I might as well allow you to be aware of it right now so you could check it out, would be to go to the website for Dr. William Butch Schrader. Now, Dr. Schrader was the individual who introduced LDA therapy back in 1993. And he's located in Santa Fe, New Mexico. He's got a burgeoning practice there, and actually he's cutting back. He's starting to slow down his practice. But at least before doing so, he trained 90 other physicians throughout the country to be able to perform that type of treatment. And of course, I happen to be one of them. And so we don't have to go to Santa Fe, New Mexico. We can have those kind of treatments right here. I say that the gentleman who introduced the therapy wrote about that therapy on his website. I'll send you all to it by dialing up. Here's the website now. Dr. Schrader, DR without the period. Dr. Schrader, SHRADER, drschrader.com. Dial that up on your in your computer and read a rather lengthy description of what LDA is all about from the guy who ought to know, the one who introduced it to us back in 1993. And then after you've read the written word, which is rather extensive, I send you to the spoken word because way back in November of 2012, we launched in the month of 2012 our participation in the LDA slash LDI treatment regime. And since then, we've been very much involved in the center of the treatment benefits that can be achieved, literally correcting your allergic responses amazingly through a series of intradermal injections. So head to my website at djcmd.com. On the opening page, click on the icon marked Archives. That takes you onto this YouTube thing. It's just amazing to me that this huge, massive collection of videos is available to me to utilize in any way I see fit. And so just start scrolling. Once you're on the site, start scrolling back to November of 2012, and there you'll find what we referred to as LDA Fridays. You see, we launched LDA and LDI treatment in November of 2012, and each and every Friday in the month of November, we brought you another featured guest. The first guest on November 2nd was none other than Dr. William Butch Schrader himself, which I thought was a great way to kick off the LDA treatment program here with us. I really enjoyed, never will forget that show. The following week, 1 week later, another Friday, Dr. John Wyckoff was our guest talking about the use of LDA for autoimmune diseases. And then the third and the fifth week, remember the fourth week in there is Thanksgiving, or sort of sandwiched this out of a back-to-back program, but still on the Fridays, the third and the fifth Friday were spent with us by a lovely clinician from the West Coast who is a naturopathic gastroenterologist. Her name is Dr. Kathleen Janelle, and she explained extensively, that's why we took 2 weeks, how she treats pretty advanced GI disorders through using LDA and LDI. Anyway, that now you have it. You're able to do what I refer to as the extra credit book report on your own. If you think you have an interest in these kinds of therapies, if you have immunological reactions, if you have that seasonal hay fever or food issues or chemical issues, you for sure are referred to as the LDA patient, the classical LDA patient. Go ahead, read about it with Dr. Schrader, hear about it on our air with the recorded shows, and then set up an appointment to come in to see me. And as I just clarified with the previous caller, coming in on the very day that we talk about this, if you're up for it, we can move right to do those injections without any delay. In the past, we really had quite a discussion about how you had to prep. And we're not doing those preps anymore, and it becomes something that is unencumbering and able to allow people that hesitated before, they seem not to hesitate anymore. That's the LDA story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. And in the interim, I'll let you dial us up if you'd like to. Remember to get on in and involved in this today. Dial us up at 412-825-6262. I got some things on my plate. Let's find what's available on yours by dialing up the number and listening and allowing me to listen for the knock on the door. Be right back in a moment. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back once again to AIM Impact on Your Health here on a Friday morning get 'em up out of town version of the show, where we let you come on in here and set the agenda as you'd like to see it. You do so by dialing us up at 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. Anything on your mind is okay with me. Communication, hey, form of a question, form of a comment, both forms of communication are absolutely acceptable here. Once again, that number, 412-825-6262. Eye programs. We're a lot about eyes around here. We've been doing eye treatments, pretty sophisticated eye treatments for 2 years now. We are well in our anniversary months, which all started back there in July of 2013. That's when we were blessed by Dr. Condrat's blessing of allowing us to do and perform his 3-day treatment programs here in a northern venue while he continues to administer them in his southern venue, now emanating from Fort Myers, Florida. Each and every month over that time frame, we've done a group of patients that came through here with serious eye problems. The retinal diseases are where that focus has been now for 2 years for sure. And in 3 days, and that's how long the program lasts, in 3 days, we're able to get these diseases turned around. I tell you, we have a 92% success rate, meaning substantial improvement within 3 days in these retinal diseases that don't have any real treatment answers in the conventional world. On the macular degeneration, glaucoma / diabetic retinopathy, and macular pucker, retinitis pigmentosa. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And your education has brought you to the point where you should at least know if it's retinal, then more than likely, well, not more than likely, it's just the way it is. There's nothing that can be done by the conventional medical community to get that vision back. Unfortunately, you'll be told that the disease will progress. You will either slowly or quickly continue to lose your vision, and your friendly ophthalmologist will continue to monitor you and watch you go right off of that cliff without being able to help pull you back. Now, that's pretty rough talk, but that's a pretty devastating blow to the gut of those who have these problems. You just got to know Dr. Ed Condrat came up with a way to reverse these diseases and get you established and return vision, and it starts in 3 days. Now, these programs that he is involved with personally, each and every month, whomever is involved in that particular program we offer here, is able to have Dr. Edward Condrat literally at their beck and call. He's involved with every patient one-on-one by examining the records and really coming up with the frequencies for the frequency-specific devices, and the list goes on and on and on. If you have an interest in becoming involved with these eye programs, this will more than likely be, as we move into next Monday, I'm pretty sure that'll cut off any additional entrance into this program, which is the 20th, 22nd for the 3 days, that's the retinal diseases, and 20th to 23rd, which is 4 days for the cataracts, the new addition to the long list of things that we absolutely treat. And so if you have an interest, go do a couple things. One, go to the website. We are known as the Pittsburgh Eye Protocol, and you can head to pittsburgheyeprotocol.com and read all about us there. We link on to Dr. Ed Condrat's website. We are actually his northern affiliate, so we linked onto the site. He's got a very busy site with a lot of information there, and just enjoy. It gets a little complicated, but just enjoy all the information that abounds there, and become comfortable and familiar with the Ed Condrat program, which we are offering here. If you want to get specific information, or you're thinking about enrolling in one of the up-and-coming programs, give Sister Sarah a call. The number to do that is to dial her up at 724-993-0500. That's 724-993-0500. And that's direct line to Sister Sarah, and she'll be able to field whatever questions you may have. Now, if the July program, and I admit it's pretty late in the game, but the August program has been scheduled. So let me tell you, if you're interested in being involved this summer, the next opportunity besides July will be August. The dates are 17, 18, 19, and 20. So we'll be rounding out our summer schedule. Have nothing scheduled for the month of September. Obviously, there will be additional programs then, but for now, July and August dates are published. Head to the website, link on to Dr. Conrad's site, Healing the Eye and Wellness Center, and then give Sister Sarah a call. It's easy as 1, 2, 3, and we'll be interested in trying helping you get your eye condition reversed. The cataract program, the brand new program, just started 2 sessions ago, has had an absolute major impact in dealing with cataracts and starting to reverse their deposition under the lens, and that is an additional day. That's 4 days instead of 3, but substantial improvement all the way around. Okay. Once again, I invite you, if you want to come on in here and set the agenda, the number to do it is 412-825-6262. Avazzia training. It's on my list. I got to talk to you about it. People are really coming in to see us here to get assessed and to be treated with microcurrent. Now, we've been utilizing frequency-specific microcurrent, but Avazzia is taking the forefront here, and because Avazzia is microcurrent, but it is not frequency-specific. Completely different waveform, completely different benefits. Of course, when it comes to pain issues, if that pain is musculoskeletal, Avazzia can and does play a very prominent and immediate way of getting control and reversing that pain. This is why Avazzia has really worked its way into our programs here. And we introduce you to Mike Legal and Lynn Teachworth, as well as Nancy Anderson, and remember Jennifer from the other day. All in all, telling you that this is our headquarters. We're probably the Pittsburgh venue. I don't know really of any other medical office that does what we do here, and we like to be known as a leader in just about everything that we do. We usually are, and certainly the Avazzia company will be based. Most of all activity will be coming out of this office. That led to saying, "Hey, Mike, you gotta have training for the locals, for the one in their backyard." And it just so happened to work out that there is a national convention for massage therapists coming to Pittsburgh in August. Now, we knew about this when we talked this over in April, Mike and myself, but nonetheless, it's really getting close. If you're a massage therapist, you probably already know about this, and if you're not, we're letting you know that they're coming to town, and you're going to be here on the 19th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd. That's a Wednesday to a Saturday. And then their convention, which will be held at the Lawrence Convention Center, comes to a rapid conclusion. Now, we said for those, and we're going to be a vendor, we will be in the building, we'll be one of the vendors who are going to be one of many in the vendor room, and there will be people who were interested in Avazzia and more than likely may purchase units while here in Pittsburgh and want to be trained before they go back home. As it turns out, it's a wonderful way to do it. If you are going to be involved in that conference that's over on the 22nd, Sunday the 23rd is going to be your training day. You have an opportunity to learn how to use a device and be completely proficient in it. So when you arrive home on Sunday night, you're ready to take and put this device into play on Monday morning. We just glommed onto it and said, you know what, if you're a Western Pennsylvania resident and you'd like to be trained in the use of Avazzia, you too can do so on that same day. And so now we offer a training program all day Sunday, going to be held at the Westin Hotel. That's the hotel They changed these names around here. I can't keep track of them, but that's the one that's now actually connected to Lawrence Convention Center. We got a room able to accommodate how many ever get enrolled in this, and we're going to be there all day. You'll be able to learn what you want to learn about the use of Avazzia. Up till now, what I'd have you do is call us here, and we are putting together a registration page. It's not put together just yet. We will take your name and personally invite you to go to the registration page. And the moment I have, and I'm going to guess that that'll be completed by the time Monday rolls around, the moment I have the registration page available, I'll direct you to it, and you'll be able to do this online and won't have to talk to anybody. That is not available today. I was hoping it was. It's not, but the registration page will be available to you very soon, and I'll let you know all about it and how you can pay for the thing. I mean, if you're going to be buying the device, they'll be severely discounting the course, or you could just go in for your enjoyment, and more about that on the registration page. The date, August 23rd, the place, the Westin Hotel, all day Sunday. You too can become trained in Avazzia technology. Hey, we got a knock on the door. Come on the store. Hello, welcome aboard. What's on your mind? Go right ahead.
Dr. Courtney, we're just speaking a lot about the Avazzia. I was looking on their webpage, and the basic machine that they have listed, can that do the scar removal and the pain treatment?
Oh, yeah, you're talking about the blue, huh?
Yes.
The Avazzia Blue.
It comes up from there.
It's a great starter unit, and it is as powerful and as potent a device as any of the devices. It's a good starting point. I think, is it like $590 or something like that? $575.
$595 with the kit.
Yeah, it's really quite a deal to get you going, and it will win you over so much that you'll either stick with it and say, "Oh, this was a deal," or you'll say, "You know what? Maybe I want to upgrade and go to another unit." What we found out the other day is, if you ever trade up, that was a new concept I'd never heard about before. If you ever trade up, they'll apply the full price of the device you already have to the traded up unit. So you really can't miss out. Starting out with an economically doable amount of money to get you into the game will give you the opportunity to make decisions in the distant future about how else you may want to continue to upgrade to the more sophisticated units. I got the top of the line. It's called a Pro Sport. It certainly doesn't cost $500, but clinicians really do need to have the capabilities of the Pro Sport, which is every bit as much feedback telling me, the patient talking to me, as much as me talking to the patient. As a person that just has the pain problem, you don't have to have the Pro Sport. It really is for the clinician only. So you never have to get up to those higher numbers.
Does that have adjustable? That's the one you can adjust the output on it?
Oh, yeah. It's completely adjustable both ways. I guess the better way of saying it is the Pro Sport is all of the other units that Avazzia makes, all wrapped into one. The blue, the RSI, something called Avazzia, the Z treatment. That's for cosmetic reasons. All those are found within the Pro Sport. But besides that, the Pro Sport is able to get impedance information where the body talks back to it. And I think that a good evaluation by a clinician at the onset of your treatment by the Pro Sport, someone who knows how to use it, is the way to get this kicked off, where we can give you the exact frequencies that you need, and we'll know which unit is better inclined to be able to help you. Essentially, the 4 different frequencies are found in all those units, in the blue, in the RSI model, and every other model. So rather than confusing you, you shouldn't feel in any way that you should shun away because the unit goes, well, what? Come on, for $500, what does this thing do?
Well, I've got like a hernia scar that I like on both sides that I'd like to get rid of.
And the blue unit will do it. And scars, as you learned on Wednesday, did you hear the show on Wednesday when the girls were on? Did you happen to hear that, Joe? It all starts with scars, whether it was a cosmetic issue that brought the attention to want to do something about it. What we learned was there's a physical reason you want to alleviate scars because of the interference that it plays in the electrical activity passing through you. So whenever somebody is here to have a conference with us uh, on their pain issues, the very first issue we're going to address is talk to me about all the surgeries you've ever had, and besides that, tell us about any major trauma you had as a child and beyond, because those scars that result from those kinds of interventions, whether it was an intervention or an accident, have to be dealt with. Scars are the first place to go, and all the units deal with scars.
Well, if we came into your office for a consult, um, can the scars be removed in like one treatment, or do you have to have multiple treatments?
I would say this: the scars usually begin to show the ability to disappear with the first treatments. However, they're going to require additional. I mean, one treatment doesn't completely alleviate the issues associated with those scars. But I can tell you, I've had so many patients tell me that the scar that was so ugly for them, they can't even see it anymore. And whether that took 1, 3, 5, or 9 treatments, they're really pleased with the cosmetic benefit. I got to tell you, I'm happy for them. But the physiological release of those scars is the real benefit, and how it may allow them to not suffer the additional amount of pain that results from them. So you may have back pain, and you may have the only scar on your body in your knee, but that knee scar is playing a role in your back pain, and it has to be alleviated. So that's the first place we start.
Well, I'm not concerned about the way it looks. It's just that the way it feels. I mean, it just didn't.
There you go.
It's kind of like it's not the surface issue that's the problem. It's below the surface.
Well, it's what's below the surface that counts, and I'm glad to hear you don't care about how it visually appears. I will tell you, there are people, especially a lot of women, who do care, and they like the fact that besides allowing them to release the fascia below the skin level, they like the idea that it's visually not. You can't even see the scar anymore. That appeals to them too. So you're going to get 2 for the price of 1 no matter what you do when you deal with the scars. But you're right. The real benefit is what lies beneath. And Avazzia is probably the only unit that has the ability to remove that the myofascial interference as quickly as it does. And that alone is reason enough to use the unit.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
All right. Look forward to seeing you soon. Hopefully. Bye. All right. Bye now. Yeah. Scars. It all starts with scars, folks. Absolutely. You got to deal with them, and it's a painstaking effort to have a discussion about where your scars are, no matter how small, no matter how large. So I'll be coming back to you with once the registration page is up, you can move to it and be able to register online. We're taking your names. We're not doing anything more than taking your names so that we can get back to you personally to let you know when the registration page is up. Rather than having multiple interventions, we're just going to stay back and let Avazzia, the company Avazzia, handle it from the get-go. As soon as the registration page is available, we'll let you know where it is, how to get there, and then you can take care of this online, and all of the possibilities will be listed there for you. Okay, let's do this. Take another short break. When we come back, folks, they did it again. I know it's a bugaboo of mine, and you probably say, there he goes again, but it's because they're going again. Another one of those problematic articles is available about mammograms. And so, naturally, it hit my tripwires. I got to bring it to you. We'll be right back in a moment talking about mammograms again. Yep, again. Be right back. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AIM Impact on Your Health here on a Friday morning get 'em up, out of town version of the show. We'll let you come on in here and set the agenda as you'd like to see it done. You do so by dialing us up at 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. I'll listen for that knock on the door, and I will let you in the store. Folks, it happened again. And as I was thinking this time, and I never really had quite put it in the right perspective, over a lot of years now, I'm going to say at least 10, every so often, another blurb comes out from another investigation, from another prestigious source. And I mean, I don't have the exact number, but I'm going to say easily over these 10 years, 30 to 40 different investigations have been published in various media. And I haven't found, and I know this for a fact, any of the 40 investigations do anything more than shoot down the effectiveness and the role of mammograms and the role that they're playing in our medical model. That's 40 times at maximum, somewhere between 30 or 40. And every single time, another investigation gets done and another look and glimpse of mammograms get revealed. And in all those 30 to 40 times, not one time, not one, this I know for sure, has said, these are wonderful ideas for you ladies to pursue, and you should just keep it right up. Not one. And so I said, I got to come back and I got to mention this again to my listeners, especially you ladies out there, because something else is going to happen. You can take it to the bank. And that is on October 1st, they're going to be yelping out there. And they're going to be screaming under the rubric of, which I think is a very positive thing, don't misunderstand me, National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which I love the idea of National Breast Cancer Awareness. I just despise the fact that they utilize National Breast Cancer Awareness Month to herd these women to having their mammograms done every year, or at least every other year now. Some rules have been changed. And so in anticipation for what's going to happen on October 1st, I'm going to take the opportunity once again to show my disdain and disgust for this procedure, because each and every time another investigation gets done, they're not supporting the use of mammograms. How is it then that when October 1st will roll around, we're going to be left with the same battle cry, go get your annual mammograms, when the rest of the year we get barraged with why you probably shouldn't have the mammogram? By the way, I'm going to lodge another complaint. Why is it that in the month of October we never have these articles brought to the forefront again? It seems like there's just a truce that the investigations that get done that are published all other 11 months of the year, they give them a break over the month of October to let them at their own, let them, meaning the National Breast Cancer Awareness people, just have carte blanche to the stage, and we get pinked to death. And there's pink everywhere. NFL is now involved, as you're going to see, and if you can remember. And so here's another one of a long line, 30 or 40 at least, over these many years. The byline says this comes out of, this is a Trib Review the other day. Common screening does little, study says. And the subtext is, findings suggest vast overdiagnosis of breast cancer. Now let's get into the article before I can go off and just extemporaneously take it from there. But the opening quote, the increased use of mammograms to screen for breast cancer has subjected more women to invasive medical treatments, but has not saved lives, a new study says. After reviewing the cancer registry records from 547 counties across the United States, researchers concluded that the screening tests aren't working as hoped. Instead of preventing deaths by uncovering breast tumors at an earlier, more curable stage, screening mammograms have mainly found small tumors that would have been harmless if just left alone. Another concept that just keeps coming up more and more again. Now, the researchers are from none lesser an institution than Harvard and Dartmouth, examined data from the National Cancer Institute's Surveillance, Epidemiology, and End Result Registry, and these are counties found all over the United States. And so they were included in the registries, and when you added up the total number of women involved, 16 million women who lived in these counties were potentially involved in this study. 16 million, folks. 16 million. The researchers found that the extent of screening in the 547 counties ranged from between 39% of the women in those counties up to as high as 78% of the 16 million female inhabitants in those counties. Ideally, the counties with more widespread screening, they figured, would have lower rates of breast cancer deaths. That was what was assumed. Well, guess what? You can't assume it. The reason is, instead, the researchers found no, I'm going to underline the word, no evident correlation between the extent of screening and 10-year breast cancer mortality. They wrote, however, in the second major conclusion, for every 10 percentage points increase in the screening rates, the incidence of breast cancer rose by 16%, according to the study. This worked out to an extra 35 to 49 breast cancer cases for every 100,000 women without any improvement, in fact, even lesser improvement in saving the lives. This is more evidence of why more than likely mammograms should be avoided. They're not helping. I guess to paraphrase it, as I normally like to do, putting in other words, the deadly cancers that would like to be detected are never detected early enough. So mammograms aren't helping folks detect the deadly cancers. Instead, what it appears to be happening is they're able to detect cancers that aren't deadly and would spring the entire medical community into action to deal with them, causing more morbidity and then reversing the mortality associated with the smaller lesions which go undetected. You remember, do you not, the Courtney 1 millimeter rule? And so we're going to just take you down memory lane and introduce you to it if you've never heard it before. But the Courtney 1 millimeter rule, which you'll never find written in any medical publication at all, has lasted 17 years of scrutiny by my colleagues. It has happened over the course of these many years. When I'm with them, I say, look, I tell my patients about this rule, and what I'd like you to do is listen to the rule and let me know if you feel that this is an error, that this more than likely shouldn't be used as the Courtney 1 millimeter rule. And 17 years now have gone by, and I've never had one of my colleagues, one of my medical colleagues, ever tell me that doesn't sound right to me. In fact, over these many years, they tell me exactly what I've figured was accurate and say, no, that's completely accurate to me. So here it comes. Here's the Courtney 1 millimeter rule. It goes something like this. Anytime a malignancy has attained the size of 1 millimeter, that malignancy is already metastasized and is off to the races at 1 millimeter. Now let me say this. At 1 millimeter, I don't believe a mammogram has ever detected a lesion at that level. They are undetectable by mammography at 1 millimeter. The earliest size that a mammogram can detect a cancer in a female breast is usually at 1 centimeter, 10 times beyond where you really needed to identify it before it would have metastasized. Couple that with the second statement to be made about mammograms. Women don't succumb to breast cancer that's confined to the breast. Women will only succumb to breast cancer that has metastasized to some other vital organ, and the most critical organs involved would be number 1, the brain, number 2, the lung, and number 3, the liver. And so if you already have metastatic spread at 1 millimeter to the vital organs, by the time a mammogram could have been positive, it's already moved to tissue that will claim that woman, because at that point, the issue isn't what's in the breast. It's where else it may have moved to, and these are why the mortality rates of women are not affected when mammograms are done. It's too late when a mammogram is detecting a 1 centimeter lesion, because when it really mattered, meaning before 1 millimeter, there was no detection, because the mammogram can't detect 1 millimeter lesions. Therefore, you need a study that's able to detect at 1 millimeter or before, and the only study that I know that does that is called a thermogram, and you've heard me rave about thermograms for these many years also. So ladies, I need to learn more about the thermogram, because the difference between, I guess, the two is this, that a mammogram is only to determine, it can only determine an anatomical anomaly. Something is there, they say, and that something can't be detected until it's already too late, meaning at 1 centimeter, we've lost valuable time in trying to find a lesion before it could have metastasized, and that's why the mammogram is so poor. By the time it's positive, the metastatic spread has already occurred, even though they'll never be able to determine with accuracy where the metastatic spread had moved to, and it will work its will with the doubling times in those critical structures, and when they finally rear their ugly head, it will be too late to really salvage and save this person's life. We need to intervene with a study that is able to detect and determine cancers physiologically to know how invasive they are, and the thermogram is the only way I know to do it, because at 1 millimeter, believe it or not, a lesion in a female breast will light up the size of your fist, and you can't miss it. And it's just there. I mean, it's visible, it's knowable, it's detectable, and is able to physiologically tell you that it is an invasive cancer at that stage of the game. Now, unfortunately, at 1 millimeter, you can't go to your doctor and say to them, you know what, I just had a thermogram. It's really revealing that I've got a terrible lesion, potentially terrible lesion here, and we've got to do something about it. And the conventional physician will probably say something like, what is a thermogram? And what do you mean that you have a critical lesion there? Because when we do a mammogram, which is what they're going to recommend, nothing's visible. Nothing shows. And so consequently, reporting a lesion to your conventional doctor doesn't yield any suggestions for treatment, because the one study that they use won't show anything when the thermogram is positive. So let me just say this. There are ways to eradicate those lesions before they ever become 1 centimeter and can be detected on mammogram. You just want to get tipped off to the problem before it ever can get to the point where the mammogram could find it. Of course, too, there's two additional things to say about mammography that have been unsaid up to this point, but let's get them out on the table. Number one, with one word, I'll point to the barbaric nature of mammograms, which haven't changed since the day of Madame Curie. Okay? Madame Curie could have done the same thing with a mammogram back when she discovered X-rays, and that is being done today. The mammogram done in 1950 for sure is the exact same way it gets done today, and the word squish is all that needs to be mentioned to determine what a barbaric study it continues and remains today. Even with that said, if their benefit was so good, I'd be singing their praises. But to go through the barbaric squish, if you know what I mean, and have the inability to detect the cancer early enough says you probably need to reconsider this. And then, of course, is the matter that utilizing X-ray to the same breast tissue over and over and over again, and sometimes annually, and with the new standards, okay, it's every other year, but every time you subject yourself to mammograms, 1 rad of energy is directed to breast tissue from above to below, and additionally from outside to inside. So one breast gets 2 rads of ionizing energy every time you get a study. That's a total of 4 rads, and that damages DNA and literally leads to provoking the very thing you're trying to avoid, which is a cancer. And we know that repeated exposure to ionizing energy provokes the formation of cancers, the one thing you're trying to avoid. How they can continue to sell this and have, although a wonderful idea, breast cancer awareness, I'm all for it, but not to use that month to herd women into having those studies, which will not save lives. It's just it's a scam. It has to be revealed. Another study has done it again. And then more than likely maybe 1 or 2 more before October rolls around. And then the big truce. 1 month will go by. You won't be able to find any mention at the time that the pinks have taken over. You won't see any negative information about mammograms. They sort of let them on their own. They give them their month. They let them do whatever they want to do. And then you'll see those articles start to reappear again in November, December, and beyond. Why they give them the truce, I don't know. But I'll certainly be ranting and raving over the month of October. I know it because it happens every year. I used to have a great indicator that things weren't going to be good for me in this show, because the fountain down at the point used to turn pink on the day of October 1st. And for the longest time, the fountain wasn't working, so there was no pink. Last year, the fountain was working, and they didn't turn it pink. Will they do it this year or not? Well, I'll let you know. I don't know who makes that decision, but nonetheless, the ineffectiveness of mammography is not going to change. It's too old of a study. It doesn't yield the protections that you need, but it does expose you to radiation that more than likely you should avoid. And there you have it. I did it again. I know you're out there saying, there he goes again, but I just had to do it because it was there, folks, because it was there. All right. Bill has played his chopsticks, telling me it's time to get on out of here. I want you to have a wonderful weekend. I guess the weather's going to change dramatically. I sure hope. Until Monday, then, when I see you again, I want you to have a wonderful time. Until then, this is Dr. Dennis Courtney saying so long for AM Impact on Your Health.